Being a reflector in human design, if you haven't heard of it before, it's an upgrade to astrology, to me, anyways, was really a game changer for me. It helped me understand why it was so easy for me to relate to other people, but difficult for others to relate to me. My spiritual gifts have a lot to do with the way that I calibrate to people's energies, and I'm processing the energy of my environment 24/7. It's just in my nature. So imagine somebody sitting up on a tree or a tower, looking down at the city and just watching what's going on, seeing the bird's eye perspective, seeing the vision, seeing what's ahead while everyone is down on the ground. I'm up perceiving from afar. And a lot of people misunderstand the way that I show up. I'll often fill the room with dichotomy, with what's missing. So if there's high energy extroverts, for example, then I will fill it with introversion and silence and listening, and vice versa. If there is tension in the room, then I'll create space. I'm always perceiving what's needed for harmony. It's also why I get really exhausted from the way I show up for people, or in the past when I didn't understand the uniqueness of the way that I process information and process people. So a lot of people will often love being near my energy, but they don't realize how much it might drain me to be around them. Energy flows downward. So if someone is in a bad space, my energy just naturally goes to that person and it energizes them, but it depletes me. And I've had many instances where I will be depleted unknowingly to the other person. And then there have been many times when people will feel like I betrayed them, when I need to pull back and to take space. Why am I sharing this now? Because I didn't value what I was offering to people in the past. And because of how much I care, I gave freely. And now, as I step into this next chapter of my life, now that I've completed my studies and am moving into building a career, a helping career, I need to be very mindful of my energy, the sacred reciprocity that is involved in energy work. In the past, I didn't know how to manage that. I didn't know how to honor my boundaries. But as I have needed to take on more and more responsibility and more serious and important cases and situations, it's become more and more apparent how important it is for me to maintain my energy, because that is what I offer. That is my gift. So my ability to perceive from a bird's eye perspective is apparently unique. And so some of the feedback that I've gotten from many people is that I can name things that they don't have words for. I see them clearly. I see them in a way that's never felt so true. So I've cultivated my craft in focusing on supporting people with their highest potential. And that's a double-edged sword. So when I see somebody, when I perceive them, I see their soul, I see their potential, I see their highest self. And that allows me to be a fantastic guide, support, healer, coach. And at the same time, I've held a lot of space for people who haven't chosen that path. And because of how deeply I care, it's hard for me to let those people go and to trust in the divine unfolding of their lives. And remember that I am not God, and I can only lead a horse to water, but I cannot make them drink. I've had to release people time and time again to their own path. And perhaps in some ways I may have enabled them because it served me. It made me feel worthy, like I was contributing meaningfully to someone's life. So while I've released the identity of survivor for the past week, along with it is releasing the identity of savior and really step more into reflector. Another thing that I wanted to talk about today was why I've been hiding for so long. In my soul, it feels like I've been burned at the stake thousands of times for trying to step into my power, trying to find my voice, shining my light. Every step along the way, it feels like someone, something has tried to dim it. And as a reflector, I was so sensitive to other people's energies, taking on other people's energies as my own, not knowing that this was part of my unique sensitivity. So I took on the energies around me growing up. And now I've worked so hard to clean the slate and connect to my true form, my true energy, which is also why I require a lot of alone time to recharge. And I'm so impacted by my environment more than most. If I'm in an environment that is holding a lot of dense energies, I feel it through my bones, which allows me to offer consolation, support, and perception, healing. Maybe in the past, I didn't have enough sovereignty in my own energy field to function around those type of densities, to not merge with them. But part of cultivating my craft was to recognize what my true gifts are, how they work, and the non-negotiables when it comes to working with me and the truth of where I am, who I've become. And the thing is, as much as I wanted to back down from this path so many times and was just like, I can just be a regular therapist. I don't need to be stepping into this big calling, this big mission. And the universe kicked my booty and was like, nope, this is your calling. This is what you're doing. And you're doing the world a disservice by not stepping into your calling, because the world is calling on people like you to step up. You're being called in. And I really have no idea how anything is going to unfold at all. But the message that I've been getting is that as I start to reveal myself, so will the ones I'm meant to support. So you're going to be seeing a lot of me. And when you work with me, it's like pure magic, apparently. Apparently. I'll show you where the magic is in your life. I'll show you what sovereignty looks like and how you get there. I'll show you the parts of yourself that you will need to face, that you are being called to face, so that you can step into your highest potential. And I'll show you by leading the way.